Well, howdy there, Internet people, it's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court rulings. The Supreme Court handed down a number of decisions today, and we're going to provide summaries of all of them. It's important to note that like many SCOTUS decisions, the headlines are sometimes misleading, and there will be attorneys poring over the decisions looking for the fine print. Trump versus CASA. This is probably the most consequential, and already the headlines are misleading. Let me say this clearly. This did not revoke birthright citizenship. This isn't even about birthright citizenship. It evolved from that case, but the question before the court was whether or not federal district courts could issue nationwide injunctions. In a 6-3 decision, the court said, quote, "The court grants the government's applications for a partial stay of the injunctions entered below, but only to the extent that the injunctions are broader than necessary to provide complete relief to each plaintiff withstanding to sue." So they sided with Trump on limiting nationwide injunctions, but kept in place the injunctions for the actual plaintiffs. Meaning, courts could say, stop the administration from deporting a person suing, but couldn't use that case to issue a nationwide injunction against the behavior. Expect a bunch more suits and class action suits. There's going to be a lot more coming on this from legal scholars. Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton. This one is pretty straightforward. A state can require age verification for grown-up sites on the internet. Federal Communications Commission versus Consumers Research. This was a challenge to the E-rate program, which subsidizes phone and high-speed internet for schools, libraries, low-income communities in urban areas, and rural areas. The Supreme Court sided with the FCC and kept the program up and running. Mahmoud versus Taylor. The court basically said that school districts will have to provide an opt-out for material that conflicts with a parent's religious beliefs. The case stemmed from LGBTQIA+ books, but will eventually lead to a bunch of people opting out of biology and asking, if we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Kennedy versus Braidwood Management. The Supreme Court, in another 6-3 decision, upheld the structure of a federal task force that recommends preventative services that must be provided to patients at no cost under the Affordable Care Act. A group of people described as Christian challenged the structure because it appears they didn't like that they were providing something that prevents HIV. Louisiana versus Calais. The court kicked that can down the road on this one. We should get a decision during the next term. It has to do with alleged racial gerrymandering, that 2 majority black districts are racially gerrymandered. It's now not clear which maps will be used in the midterm. So, there's a rundown. Be aware that there's a lot of sensationalism surrounding a number of these cases, even the ones that really aren't sensational. We'll have more updates as we get better reads on the full scope of the cases. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.